Hello everyone, hello. Welcome. Today we're doing kind of getting back into the swing of things. It's been a little while since I have streamed, and I just wanted to talk to you about, what all has been going on, what all I've been doing and everything like that. I've been, just got back yesterday from the trip. Yesterday? I think it's yesterday. Yeah, my days are all kind of flowing together. My internal clock is 100% messed up. But it is very, very nice to finally be back. Alright, so let's sort of give a rundown. I think the first order of business is to kind of give a rundown as to, one, what I've been kind of doing, and to what I'm going to be doing the next couple of days. Midnight, good to see you. Good to see you. It's been a while. Oh man, I am super tired. My internal clock is all messed up. But it is good. It is good to be here. I hope you're doing well today. So yeah, the first things first. I have indeed been gone a little while. I've been out in North Carolina past couple of days doing an engineering audit in the field for some of the aircraft that it is my actual job. Doing some the physical engineering audits on that stuff, and it is super cool. I drove out there early Sunday. I was getting everything ready Saturday, getting everything packed up, getting all my notes in order and everything, because we looked at about a little over 1,200 components, something like that. And that's like big assemblies, making sure everything's within those those assemblies as well. And it was, oh my gosh, yeah, I drove down to some the production facility in North Carolina. And it's about a 6-hour drive from where I live, more or less, depending on the traffic. And it's very interesting. It's one of the longer trips I have done solo, without any co-drivers, without any other passengers. And normally a lot of my solo trips are usually heading up north, like through Pennsylvania and New York and the likes. So having a trip going down south is a very different experience. Mostly kept to the highways on the way down there, and it's very interesting. So I was talking with some of the other coworkers that were also heading down there from their homes as well. Apparently, and I haven't gotten a chance to verify this, but apparently in Virginia, going over the speed limits or above 80 miles an hour is apparently considered reckless driving. I'm not 100% sure if that is true or not. I think that might be true, judging by the way people drove on the highways there. That there was an atmosphere of fear with some of the drivers on the highway. Anytime they would see, even the slightest hint of anything slightly wrong. Oh, there's an orange barrel cone on the side of the road. Slam on the brakes. Oh, there's something flashing up ahead. Slam on the brakes. Oh no, there's an on-ramp coming up. Slam on the brakes. There's an off-ramp coming up. Slam on the brakes. And it was just driving through Virginia was not fun. I mean, on one hand it was kind of funny, but it wasn't fun. I'm sure if you put like a camera inside of my vehicle and I didn't know about it, it would probably be immediately removed from YouTube from breaking most of the community guidelines. Because, oh boy, that was a little bit animated going through especially like around Richmond area. I was talking with one of my coworkers going down there. He drove kind of straight through like the heart of Richmond, one of the highways that goes straight through. I thought I'd be smart, try to avoid traffic going around. Neither of our choices was smart, because apparently either way we went, there was some pretty big accidents that definitely slowed us down quite a bit. So it's always funny talking to the other people that went down at different times and everything like that, kind of catching up at the restaurant when we kind of met up down there in North Carolina. We're all, you know, oh wait, what slowed you down? Oh, I got slowed down right around like outside of DC. There was a big accident there. Oh, you're lucky. There was a huge slowdown just outside of Richmond. I managed to avoid DC, but you know, Richmond slowed me down. And then there's you know, another guy. Oh no, I had a major slowdown outside of Newport, Virginia. And I try to avoid, on the way down, I try to take the highway route that avoided most of the cities. With the exception of Newport. I had to go through Newport to get to the production facility because Newport is a very, very close city. But the drive down was very hectic, but it was a lot of fun too as well, because it was just, you know, just kind of chilling, just cruising on the open road and everything. It was very, very, very fun. I did enjoy that aspect of it. But we get down there around dinner time and everything like that. All the guys, you know, we all kind of meet up. I go to this Mexican restaurant called Three Amigos, and I love Mexican food. Mexican food is like God's gift to Earth. I love Mexican food is delicious. So we go there, you know, we're all sitting around. Some of them are, you know, doing the tequila shots and everything like that. Really, really cool. We're just, you know, just kind of having for lack of better words, the calm before the storm and everything, you know, just, and what's really, really cool, because this is the first time I've been on an actual, like, company trip as well, granted, it depends on the company policy and everything like that, but certain companies do, like, reimburse, like, full-on, like, travel expenses, you know, mileage, hotel stay, and everything like that, and the company I work for is one such company. So it's, you know, it's very, very short. Normally you just get used to kind of, you know, you're just taking the receipt and just kind of saving it or just throwing it away, what have you. But no, with that, you gotta, you know, you do need to keep like super, super good records of like all your expenses and everything like that, all your receipts, and keep them with you, and you photocopy them when you get back to the office so that you can upload them up to a website so they can reimburse you for the expenses, which is something I first time doing that as well. And it was very, very hectic. I'm glad I did save all the receipts and everything like that, but it was very, very, very cool that they do that. Very, very nice, because it was a very, very long trip as well. So we get down there and everything like that. We kind of settle into the hotel room. We're mostly staying at like either like the Marriott or the Hampton Inn or what have you. You know, nothing super, super fancy, but nothing like, you know, disgusting either. Just nice, clean beds and everything. The day starts for Monday, the first day of the audit. It starts at 6 a.m. We're up. We're going to the production facility. The production facility is this huge, I'm talking like massive hangar. It kind of looks like a giant size roly-poly or like potato bug, if you're familiar with that terminology. You know, let me pull that up real quick. Not the actual facility, I can't show that, but I can show at least kind of a very close resemblance to what it looks like, kind of, is the roly-poly bug. You know, this thing with its kind of dome-like structure. And it just towers. It just towers above the trees and everything else like that. And you're approaching it, and you can see it from quite a distance, and you're getting closer and closer, and it's still just looming above where, you know, like it's just huge. Like we build aircraft there. We store multiple aircraft in there. It is big, but it kind of roughly resembles this shape. And I remember, because I've worked for the company for a couple, you know, quite a while now. And you see pictures of that. You kind of know what all the facilities roughly look like, but the pictures do not do it justice, because it is huge. Like you go there and it is absolutely massive. And you're getting closer and closer, and it's like casting, because it's early morning as well. It's casting like a massive shadow along the ground as you're getting close to it. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna be in here for the entire day. Or outside, one or the other. A little bit of both, actually, the first day. So we get in there, and if you're not familiar with what an engineering audit is, an engineering audit is basically we go there, we look at the actual produced vehicle, right? And we have like a massive list of engineering drawings, CAD drawings and stuff like that. Let me see if there is a picture I can kind of show of like a rough example of a CAD drawing that we can pull up. Okay, that's, yeah. Give me 1 second. Yeah, okay, this will work. All right, so you have these like CAD drawings, and it's basically like full-on engineering drawings that kind of showcase, what is all on there, the different dimensions, the different, bill of materials call-outs and everything. All right, and basically, of course, this is in German, so it's gonna make it a little bit more difficult. And this is a very, very like basic example. But basically, you have the bill of materials here that kind of showcases, what is on the assembly, or what the single component is made out of. If it's made out of certain aluminum or certain steel, what the specification is for that, because there are different specifications for different types of metals as well. The different ASTM specifications for all that stuff. And when you dive deep into like material sciences, that's not necessarily my forte, but there are people that dive like super deep into that. The different carbon contents, the different hardness, the different manufacturing processes of just steel alone, let alone other lighter weight materials like aluminum, or even like more exotic materials like titanium, all that stuff. It is just truly mind-boggling, just how deep that rabbit hole goes. But basically, we get there. We have a massive binder. It's a heavy binder. Like it must have weighed like about 12 pounds, just filled with drawings and engineering work and everything. And we get there. We go to the aircraft, one of the aircraft that we are auditing, and basically we begin kind of we start with the full assembly. We make sure all the sub-assemblies are on the aircraft and everything. We basically go down the list for the BOM, the bill of materials. Like, okay, that's on there. Yep. Okay, that's on there. That's on there. That's on there. That's on there. And then as we kind of go down into the sub-assemblies, like the different subsystems on the aircraft, those have their own separate drawing as well. And basically what they do is down in here, this used on block, it showcases what the next higher assembly is. Or basically it shows, hey, I'm going to be going into this thing, which goes into the next thing. So you make sure that all is matching up as well. But basically you kind of go down and even to like the little nitty gritty. You make sure as well that it is built to, well, first you want to make sure that the right components are on there and everything. You check, part numbers and everything. And the company, in a drawing, it'll say, whether if it's a stamped or a stenciled part number, like a permanent part number that is on it, or if it's a bag and tag or something along that lines. But it is still very, 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 very cool. And you go down that list. You make sure all the right components are on the right, the right sub-assemblies. You make sure all of that is labeled correctly. You make sure all the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted. And you also make sure, because we had the customer with us, you make sure the customer is also happy as well. You kind of explain the different subsystems as well, how they work, how they integrate with the aircraft, how they integrate with each other, and you're doing like a full detailed rundown with with the customer, with the other engineers as well. Each of you kind of giving your own expertise, showcasing how it works, why it works. Making sure that everything is, built properly. But the other thing we check as well is to make sure that the build revision and the drawing revision, or they match. And basically what that means, all right, so what a revision is, so let's say you create a drawing from scratch of a component, okay? Under certain industry standards, that would be considered a rev dash. That is the initial release of the drawing. Now let's say you create that part. All right, it goes into production. You know, people, you know, the manufacturing produces that and everything. Well then, you know, let's say there's a slight design change. Let's say, oh no, we need larger holes here. We're gonna be mounting larger hardware here. The smaller bolts are not sufficient. We need something with a bit more strength. So you can increase the holes for the mounting hardware. You increase the diameter of the bolts as well. So or increase the have them be made out of stronger materials. Either or sometimes both. And so you make a physical change to the drawing, or you make like an actual, like, let's say it went through production. Oh no, we need to change. We forgot to add one item to the BOM, or we need to update the next tire assembly. All of that would cause the drawing to then go to a next revision. So if it was Rev Dash, it would then go to a Rev Alpha or Rev A. If it was a Rev Alpha, it would then go to a Rev Bravo or Rev B. And it's really, really cool with that. I mean, not necessarily really cool, but it just kind of showcases, that there is a system for tracking the different means, the different production versions of, let's say, the same part. And when manufacturing produces it, they also kind of put down as well what revision of drawing was used to produce that item. And so basically we completely go down that list, and it is Monday. Monday was a 12-hour day. So we get there at like 6:30-ish, more or less. We get done at like 6:30 p.m. We watch, we see the sun just as it's rising. We see the sun just as it's setting. And it is, you're on your feet the entire time as well, because you're either on a production line, or you're outside at some of the outside equipment as well, the support equipment and everything that is currently stationed outside. And it is very tiring. Oh my gosh, it is so tiring, but it's really cool though. I enjoy that a lot. But one of the things I didn't plan for is I didn't pack nearly enough water with me. So by the end of it, a couple of cookers, and myself included, were very, very dehydrated. One of the cookers, who was previously had been in the military and had kind of also has a lot of knowledge on like the physical fitness side of things and everything. He's like, "Oh, guys, I have the perfect thing for you all." So we run after work. We run down to like a CVS pharmacy, and we pick up this Pedialyte. Right? It's got electrolytes. It's got what plants crave in it, and it's you get a big, massive thing of water as well. Each of us put like 3 packets of the Pedialyte in it, and we're just kind of sipping it, getting ready to go to dinner. And we were like, oh, what should we do for dinner? What should we do for dinner? You know what? We should go to the Mexican food place again. So we go. So the second night we're there, we go to the same restaurant. It was some of the servers that had seen us previously. They do like a double take. Like, wait, what? They're back again. There are other restaurants in this city, right? Yeah, but that restaurant was so good. The food was so good. Highly recommend it. Very delicious. Very, very good. I wish I had gotten some of the flan, which is like almost like a Mexican like pudding / ice cream type of thing. Flan. If you've never had flan is really good. Let me pull up a picture of flan. flan is basically like a caramelized pudding, and it is so good. This is delicious. I like this a lot. It's one of my favorite like Mexican style like Spanish style desserts, and it's good. It's very good. But I didn't get a chance to have that. But the other stuff was really good there as well. All the food was good. They even had a thing. I had Pedialyte for plane rides to China. Long planes can really dehydrate you as well. Also yum. Oh yeah, the flan. That looks good. Yeah, the flan looks really good. And the Pedialyte. Oh my gosh. I now know like if I'm ever like super dehydrated, the Pedialyte in like the massive thing of water is like the perfect. I even as like a runner, you know, someone who did like track and cross country and everything like that. Pedialyte really I had slept on that quite a bit, but this was really good. Because you know what, normally when you get super dehydrated and everything like that, and you go to bed and you wake up, you feel awful. Your muscles ache, your bones, your joints ache. Your mouth is super dry and it's got that like acidic taste in it as well. Nope, none of that. Like, I knew I was super dehydrated, but we were drinking all that and everything. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Delicious. And it just was really nice. But yeah, we get dinner and everything. We freak out. We kind of freak out a lot of the restaurant staff. You know, some of the guys again are getting, you know, the beverages and all that stuff. Then we get back to the hotel, and a couple of the guys, myself included, we head up to one of the order guys' rooms because he's big into like all the different TTRPGs and stuff like that. I love my TTRPGs as well, and we were playing. Oh, what was it called? It's not Dungeons and Dragons. What is Dungeon World? Dungeon World is instead of Dungeons and Dragons, which is more of a number crunchy, you know, turn-based sort of combat, sort of a, you know, very here are all of your stats, here are all your skills and everything like that. Dungeon World is more very free form. It's basically, it uses a D6 system, and it's very interesting with that, because basically if you roll for like an attack or like using a spell or something like that with 2d6 plus or minus any of your modifiers, if you roll below a 7, like something really bad happens. If you roll between a 7 and a 9, you get the job done, but 2 potentially bad things can happen. If you roll between like a 10 or above, you do it, but only like 1 potentially bad thing happens, like minor bad thing happens. And there are certain skills you can get when you put in your character where if you get like a 12 or above, nothing bad happens, and you do it perfectly. And it's basically kind of like a back and forth between the DM and the players as to, I do this, but or I do this, and the DM kind of repeats, yeah, you do that, but, and it kind of goes into like, how do you solve this new issue that you think that it's kind of created, and it's this back and forth, and it's a lot faster than D&D in terms of character creation and all that stuff. It's a bit less variety in like character, like in terms of character mechanics and stuff, but you have a lot more freedom as to what you can do with said characters as well. And it's very it's very interesting. I had a lot of fun doing that. He kind of basically recreated like the intro dungeon to Dark Souls, and the rest of us are kind of playing through that, and it was really fun, just sitting on the floor of the hotel room, rolling dice with a couple of the guys and everything. And it was I actually really enjoyed that. The kind of like the camaraderie and everything. You know, after 12 hours of constantly being on your feet and, you know, being out, it was, you know, nice. Thankfully it wasn't too hot or too cold either. That's one thing I am glad. I'm very glad about. because it was very, very, very good. But we, doing the camaraderie building exercises, not even exercises, just kind of, just hanging out with each other during like, the dinner and, during like the time before, like, the time before, it'd be a good time to go to bed. It was very, very fun. I actually really enjoyed that a lot. But, we go to bed, and Tuesday we get back up. And it is shaping up to be another fairly long day. Our day kind of starts again at around 6:30. Get out there, and we kind of finish up. Basically, we had a massive selection of drawings, and we finish up the rest of them. You get the last of what we can, taken a looked at, and it is very, very, very some of the guys did not heed the Pedialyte's advice, and they're kind of dragging a little bit. The customer is definitely very much dragging quite a bit. Some of the engineers are dragging. I'm dragging a little bit too. I'm not gonna be like, haha, you guys, you chumps, you can't keep up. No, I was dragging a little bit as well, because oh man, it was very, you finish a 12-hour shift, and then you're on your feet the entire time. You're gonna be tired. You're gonna be very, very tired. But the next day, we get there, and we're still making good progress though, which is nice. Because the thing was, we expected to be, doing this Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and instead we just did it, Monday and Tuesday. So we got to come back like a day and a half early, and it was on one hand, that drive after doing a 12-hour shift and then another like 8-hour shift the day afterwards, constantly on your feet, that took a lot out of me. Like I definitely drank a couple energy drinks to get back home, because I was very exhausted. But I wanted to get back home to the family and everything like that. See the wife, see the cat. So the trip back, I definitely also took it a little bit slower as well, because I wanted to make sure, like I'm well rested. I'm not, the last thing I need is to, have any mechanical issues on the way back home. I want to make sure, like, I'm not in any hurry. As long as I get back home before dinner, I should be fine. So, I'm taking regular stops and just kind of, making sure I stretch myself and everything. And I'm kind of actually taking the time to enjoy some of the sights as well, because on the way down there, I was, basically just mind was entirely on, okay, if customer does X, do Y, running down almost like the flow chart in your head, where you're kind of figuring out, what all needs to be done, how would it do it, why, when you need to do it and everything. And it's very, very hectic as well, because doing that for the first time, you're very, it is nerve-wracking. It is very nerve-wracking. But it was a lot of fun coming back as well, because right outside of where the city where the production facility was, I kind of paid a little bit of attention to it on the way in, but I was mostly just dealing with traffic and just trying to get in time and everything like that. On the way back home, on a turn trip, one, because it's in front of you instead of behind you, you can actually see it better. But out, basically it's city, super rural section, and then another city. And in the super rural section, there's this absolutely massive wind farm. Like it is huge. Like I kind of faintly paid attention, like, oh, windmills, wind power plants, on the way in, because I kind of like looked to my right a little bit, and I had seen them once I cleared some of the trees on the highway. But on the way back home, When you get onto the highway, they're like almost like right in front of you, just to the left, and you're looking at them, and you're looking out across this field, and it is like a massive like farm field. You know, it's been plowed, things are growing and everything. But in addition to it being an actual farm, it is a huge wind farm as well. And there is just like rows upon rows upon rows upon columns upon rows of those wind turbines. And you're looking out, and especially because the day it was fairly windy that day as well, and it all just like spinning and everything, and it was almost hypnotizing. I had to watch myself because I'm like looking over. Oh wow. Oh shoot, eyes on the road, eyes on the road. Whoa, look at how many of them there are. Eyes on the road, Isaac. But oh man, it was super cool. If I was not driving at like 80 miles an hour, I would have tried. Oh, if I wasn't driving at all, I would have tried to like take a picture of that, because oh my gosh, that was really cool. Seeing just the massive swath of wind turbines and everything, and coming back as well. And one thing I noticed as well when driving through North Carolina and like Southern Virginia, through like some of like the swamplands and everything, that I never really got when I've driven through Maryland, even some of the more rural parts of Maryland. But driving through some of the rural parts of like North Carolina, oh my gosh, the amount of bugs and like other insects and little flying critters and everything, like little tiny like bugs and all that stuff that you would hit. Just like you see almost like a swarm above the road, and you just have to like drive through it, and it would just kind of splat on your front bumper or on your windscreen. It was an entirely new experience. I thought the bug on the windshield was kind of almost like a joke per se, because during my normal commutes and everything, and just driving around Maryland, we don't get that much, But to have actual like bugs and everything just splatter on the front bumper, on the windscreen and everything, on your headlights, and needing to every couple minutes use the washers for the windshield wipers. Oh my gosh, I thought that was like a visual gag, like that wasn't like an actual thing that happened, but it is, and it's. At first when I heard like the bugs hitting and everything like that, I thought it was more so a rocks or something like that, or something being kicked up by another vehicle. But it's just because they swarm that much in certain areas. It's, oh my gosh. I was not ready for that. I was not expecting that. But that was a very interesting experience as well. But on the way back, I got to actually kind of see more of the sights and everything like that. Norfolk is actually not Norfolk. No, sorry, Newport, Virginia as well. Driving through that was really cool as well, because basically there's this huge bridge you go across that goes into a tunnel as well, and you look out both ways on the bridge, because it's one of those low walls on the bridge. Let me see if I can get a picture of it. Newport Bridge, Virginia. Let me see if I can get a picture of it. Yeah, yes. That may be a different Newport Bridge. Yeah, I think that one is. There we go. This one is really cool. And you're just driving across it, and you look out to the left, you look out to the right, and it's super, you are super low, close to the water, and it is just very cool. Very cool, kind of seeing all of that and everything. Very pretty as well. Especially, it was beautiful weather both days traveling, which I am super happy about, because trying to make the trip in like bad weather. I've done long trips in bad weather. It is not fun. Doing trips in good weather is so much better. And it goes in this little tunnel at the end as well for like boats to go past. Like this is sort of the throughway for ships and everything. So you're going into this like really, really long, sweeping, like, constant left-hand corner bridge. Then you go into like a tunnel. And unlike Marylanders, they don't slow down when they go into the tunnel. Like they maintain their speed, which I am so happy about. It was very, very nice. But it was very pretty as well, because you come out of the tunnel and everything, and you're looking over, and it's so pretty. It is gorgeous. The view and all that, especially like, you know, in spring where all the trees are turning green and everything like that. You're seeing all like the flowers and everything on the trees as well. So they got the different colors. Very, very cool. Very, very nice. So we had that beautiful view, and it was just really, really good driving up through kind of up back home towards Maryland and everything. Because once you get past Newport, it's more rural for a little bit, or at least, you know, more, you know, highways. You're not really going directly through cities. You're kind of just, you know, going around a lot of cities. You know, we'll go past, you know, Colonial Williamsburg. You go past, you know, other cool stuff like King's Dominion and what's the other Virginia theme park that's right by there? My mind is blanking. It'll come back to me. But you know, you see the signs of that, but you don't really see the actual you know, the actual towns or anything like that. But you kind of get a rough idea as to where you are. But it's mostly just, you know, two lane highways going past a whole bunch of trees and everything at like 80 miles. Busch Gardens, yes, Busch Gardens. That is exactly what I was thinking. What I was thinking of. Thank you so much, Rebecca. I appreciate that. You're coming back, and it is very, you know, when you get past Newport, it's mostly kind of rural up until you get to Richmond again, and Richmond. So if you're not familiar with sort of like the Mid-Atlantic region, right around like DC area, there's a lot of other cities that all kind of, I don't want to say blend together, but you don't really get a whole lot of break between them in terms of what city, what is suburb, and what is like rural. It's pretty much city backed up to city with like sprinkling of like some slightly lower density, but still fairly high density like suburbs between the three of them, between a bunch of them. And it's basically, it's Richmond, it's DC, it's Baltimore, and it's Annapolis, and they're all kind of like right on top of each other, and it's very, 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 like, let me show you. Let me kind of show you just how hectic it can kind of get. Like, you have the Baltimore, you have Baltimore City, and you kind of have, you know, some more like high density living and stuff like that. You know, a lot of manufacturing facilities, a lot of like some very high density suburbs. And then you get DC, you get Washington DC, and that's super dense as well. And of course you also kind of have, Annapolis is a little bit further out, but it's still very, very, like, it's constant like urban sprawl all the way out into like Annapolis as well. And it's very, very, very hectic, very, very. And then we have Richmond further down here, and it's okay. There's a little bit of a gap between like Richmond and DC, but it's still very, 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 you know, very dense. Like you are within civilization, kind of all along like the Mid-Atlantic I-95 corridor. Oh, you can even, yeah, you can see Norfolk as well. Yeah, and then there's Newport News. Yeah, I went through all that as well. But the GPS heading back was making good time and everything like that. And also the GPS alerted me, hey, there is a crash on I-495, which is usually the you know, the beltway that goes around DC. That I normally take when I'm heading south and everything, or when I'm heading past you know, the mess that is the DC as well. And so it's like we have a different route. Would you like to use it? So I'm like, sure. I kind of reached down without thinking, press yes on the phone, not even looking at what the route is. It took me literally right through the heart of DC. Like I was on 395. I looked over, I could see the dome of the United States Capitol building. And it dropped me off. I think it dropped me off somewhere right around here. I think. And basically I had to like snake through like this section of DC here before getting onto, I think, where is it? Yeah, I had to kind of snake through a good chunk of this before getting onto Route 1 and then getting back onto I-95 somewhere Route 1 and then onto 495 and then back on to 95 back home. And oh my gosh, snaking through like this neighborhood here and everything was the roads are so narrow because basically they're barely wide and they're barely wide enough to kind of drive on by themselves. But you have people, high density people parking on both sides as well. And you're driving down, you look at the cars and everything like that, and they're all kind of scuffed up along the side. Their mirrors are all folded in. Some of the mirrors have been duct taped back on and everything because people, it's so narrow that people sometimes hit their mirrors and knock them off or like kind of scrape against their cars. And you're driving down and you're having, opposing traffic as well. And you're like trying to squeeze through the zitty bitty gap. It is stressful. Like I've gotten to the point with urban driving used to freak me out a lot. And I've gotten to the point where I can for the most part, I can navigate in Baltimore without too much issue. Give me GPS, give me, rough things, and there's no issue. I can predict roughly, I can figure out roughly where I am going. I can get to most areas. Good thing I done? I'm the Don! Hey! Good thing I don't drive a minivan. Exactly. I drive a little tiny Corolla, which I'm happy about. But oh my gosh, the high density, like it is so tight through here. And there was one intersection. I think, yeah, it was this one. It was this intersection. Okay. There was multiple different ways to go, multiple different like turn lanes and everything. And like make a right onto Tennessee Avenue, but you're looking there, it's Construction Avenue, this is 13th Street. So it's like, do I use a turn signal for this? How do I navigate this intersection when there is like five different like routes going through it, 6 different routes going through here? It's very, very hectic, very oh my gosh. Oh man, it was very, very, very hectic going through there. I do not want to try to drive through DC ever again. Very, very pretty. Very, very pretty, but I do not want to drive through there. Because it was very, very, very hectic. People coming every which way. Drove past an elementary school where I was just getting out as well. And one of the kids ran out right in front of my car and I had to like slam on the brakes and as well. And I'm like, basically because there's traffic, there's not traffic, but there's like cars parked on both sides of the road as well, and a lot of big vehicles as well. I'm not sure what it is about people in DC and driving much larger crossovers and everything, but it makes things very, very difficult kind of navigating. Basically, I was driving down doing the speed limit, 25 miles an hour, nothing too fast, but a kid like starts out just in front of my car, and oh my gosh, I'm glad I did not hit them because it was terrifying. Because there's teachers and everything like that just right there, and you hear them scream, "No, don't!" Like telling the kid to stop, and the kid stops like just in front of your vehicle as well, and you lock up the brakes and everything. Thankfully, kid was fine, but I'm not sure who was the most terrified, the kid myself or the teachers that were watching it happen yelling, no, don't, no, don't. Oh my gosh, but it was terrifying. That, but it woke me up. It woke me up for the final like hour drive home. And thankfully the rest of the trip, taking, 895 around Baltimore and then catching back up to 995 up north to home was very, compared to DC, it was much, much, much easier. But oh man. Oh, that was a very, very hectic trip back. Very, very fun though. I got a lot of really pretty sights, a lot of really cool, very, very cool, very, very cool, sights as well. Because you literally, I'm usually when I go to DC, it's usually you kind of go towards the outside. You drive down to like the outskirts, and then you take like the train or the bus into like the actual city center, like do the Smithsonian, or do the tour of the Capitol. Do the tour of the Capitol, the walking tour around, you kind of go past, the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, all that stuff, the ellipse. You go past all the Smithsonians as well, kind of seeing all like the historic landmarks and everything. And it's when you do that, it's much less hectic because, for what it's worth, DC is it's reasonably pedestrian friendly. National Mall, thank you so much. My mind is blanking. I appreciate, the big yards and everything like that, where there's always a bunch of like tents and everything like that set up for different events and everything. But it's still really, really cool to kind of see. But driving through that area is genuinely terrifying. And I've driven through like other cities and everything. I've driven through Philly, no issue. Driven through Pittsburgh with all of its bridges, its multi-layered bridges, perfectly fine. Driven through Baltimore, easy peasy. DC though, DC is terrifying to drive in. DC is very, very terrifying to drive in. Next time I visit, I am 100% just going to be driving to the outskirts and just taking a bus or taking a train in with the center of the city, because oh boy, that was very, very hectic, very, 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 very crazy going through all that. But you get back and everything like that, and it's there's this like weight that you don't really notice has been on you like the entire time when you're away from home. And you get back, and it feels like that weight has kind of like lifted off of your shoulders. You kind of feel like super de-stressed. You're kind of like really, really relaxed when you finally get back home and everything. Especially after like a long trip where you've been working like non-stop, and it's just it feels really, really good, coming back home and everything after all of that. You greet the wife, you greet the cat, you kind of unwind a bit, you kind of sit down, and you rehydrate and everything. You drink lots of water amongst occasionally other beverages too, of the alcoholic sort. But it is very, it's you don't really realize it. Hotel beds are quite comfortable, but it's sleeping in a different bed, away from family, away from all the pets and everything like that, away from like the what you've been used to. And even though you sleep, you don't quite feel 100% rested. You kind of feel just a little bit like out of place. And then you finally get back home, and you get to sleep in your own bed with in your own home and everything, and it feels so good. And it's one thing that, even though like I've gotten to the point, because I've done traveling a little bit with different aspects of vacation and college and all of that. It's you're never prepared for that, like, you know, that I'm home realization, that feeling. And it's difficult to describe, but it's just it's very relaxing. You just I hate the feeling of when I'm away, but I love like that feeling when you come back. Is like the best way I can describe it is almost like a runner's high. If you've ever done like long distance running, where you know you're in pain, your body is, you know, exerting itself quite hard, and then you get done, and like all the endorphins and all that stuff are kicking in to kind of, you know, tell your body, you know, you gotta keep moving, you gotta keep going and everything, and you're just sitting there, you have your drink in hand, your water in hand and everything. After you're done, you're breathing, you know, you're catching your breath, and it feels really really good, and everything in the world is just right. It's similar to that feeling when you get back, you know, when you get back home after a long ways away, where you just like everything is good, everything is just very nice. And I love that. I love that feeling. It's just so good. And I'm probably gonna be feeling it again in the near future as well, because that was the physical configuration audit, one of, I think it's going to be a total of 4, is what is currently planned, with the different subsystems being built for the aircraft as well that we're going to be analyzing. But it is very, yeah, that's still sort of in the planning phase, still kind of being, you know, talked about as well. Details being worked out with the customer. But I think hopefully I'm not going to need to kind of leave anytime soon. Hopefully, you know, I'm going to be staying here for a little bit. But yeah, that was kind of, you know, a little bit of detail on the trip without going into, you know, too much of, you know, classified and other information that I can't talk about. But I had a lot of fun, kind of working directly in the field and everything. You know, the long hours on one hand were kind of hard, but on the other hand, you know, once you get past like hour 10, you kind of get into like this vibe, this rhythm, where you just kind of like mesh with your other coworkers as well, and like you're all just kind of like on the same. It could just be due to like being all of you being exhausted and just kind of wanting to, you know, make sure this is done properly, so that way you can get back to your hotel, shower, and then head out for like, you know, dinner and all that stuff. But you kind of get to, you know, that vibe of, okay, you are on this subsystem, you are on this subsystem, you are on that subsystem, I'm gonna take this subsystem. All right, client A, you go with them, client B, you go with them, client C, you go with them, and you kind of detail, you know, you begin kind of like dividing up the work and everything like that much better, and everyone kind of, you know, taking their turns, you know, all that stuff. That way the client can see every member of the client can see every small little detail. But then you also use, you know, going through that, and it's fun as well, and the camaraderie as well, because a lot of us picked the same hotel to stay at, because that way we can all kind of carpool if need be to the production facility. Because there isn't a whole lot of parking at the production facility that isn't already used up by the people doing the production side of things. But it is very cool. Very nice. Okay, that was a trip. Now that I'm back though, basically I have to write up, you know, quite a few reports as to what all happened, you know, all the different, you know, the clients' comments and everything. Get that all written down into a full-on report, see what needs to be changed for the CAD drawings and the engineering and everything, what needs to be changed on the production side, and that's gonna take a little while too, but that's something that we can do back here up in Maryland, so that's gonna be really fun as well, just kind of detailing all of that, getting everything sorted, getting everything sort of reworked. Well, not everything's gonna need to be reworked, but quite a few things are gonna be reworked. And it's gonna be a lot of fun getting, you know, working as a team, getting that all sorted. Yeah. But that is basically the general gist of the big trip, the big sort of where I've been the past couple of days. Now that I'm back, I do intend to kind of stream a lot more, sort of go back to the regular schedule. I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow and Friday. Both of those days it's gonna be, you know, Enthusiast and Grand Theft Auto 3. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be away again on Saturday and Sunday for Easter celebrations. Saturday is gonna be with my side of the family, and then Sunday is gonna be with the in-laws. So both of those, I'm gonna be away for both of those. But then I'm gonna be back again the coming week, and I'm gonna be diving right into full-on streaming again, doing some Wreckfest, doing all of that stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing all that as well. Because now that I've kind of gotten the break and everything, I not necessarily a break, but like I've, you know, kind of had some time to like reflect and everything. It is, you know, I want to get back into the streaming again. It's been very, very fun. And as well with regards to the streaming, I'm just very, very, very thankful for all of this as well. This has been a lot of fun. I kind of started the channel as well, just to kind of as a means to, you know, be an excuse to kind of not only gush about my favorite racing games, but also kind of, you know, explore other genres of games, other types of games as well that I've never gotten a chance to play. You know, doing that, it's been really, really, really enjoyable, and I'm really grateful that, you know, people will actually enjoy watching me do this as well. I am very, very, very happy about that, and I want to make sure I stay here for quite a while doing this type of stuff, because it's very, very, very fun. But that being said, though, that's pretty much everything I've talked about, everything I wanted to talk about for the actual trip as well. I am going to be in the coming weeks as well. I'm going to be taking some time also to kind of work on improving different elements of the stream as well. This weekend I'm going to try to figure out how to get different like chat bots and everything working for the stream, so you can do like, you know, exclamation point commands and everything, almost like you would on like a Twitch stream. Getting all those sorted. I've seen a couple of YouTube tutorials for all that stuff, so I'm gonna try, especially after this stream, I'm gonna try to get some of that fixed up and all that done. But yeah, it's gonna be really, really cool. Hopefully, I'm gonna try get that working. Last night I did make a few minor improvements to the model. Should be a little bit smoother, should be looking a little bit better. You know, not nearly as, you know, ghost pale, not nearly as, you know, singular colored eyes. Like I did a few minor detail changes here too. So I am gradually trying to improve with this stuff. If there's any, if any of you have any like other tips, any tricks, anything like that for any of the VTubing thing, because I'm basically a guy that's trying to learn trying to learn a lot of this stuff in his free time, not necessarily by himself, but like with, you know, a small group of people trying to kind of figure this out. So I do appreciate, you know, all of your patience with, you know, some of the jank or some of the you know, the amateurishness. But I'm having a lot of fun. I'm hoping you're having a lot of fun. So yeah, with that being said, though, I am probably going to be ending the stream here. I do need to get something sorted with regards to the chatbot and everything. So that's gonna be, I'm gonna be spending the rest of the night trying to get that all sorted. That being said, thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the stream, do be sure to leave a like, subscribe, let me know what I'm doing well in the comments below. If you didn't enjoy the stream, do be sure to let me know what I'm doing poorly, so I can fix that in the future. Regardless, so thank you all so much for watching. I've been Isaac Umbras, and wherever you are in the world, whatever time of day it is for you, I do hope it is a great time. And I do hope to see you all in the next stream. Until then, take care everyone. Bye bye!